And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. An airshed is generally described as an area where the movement of air and air pollutants can be hindered by local geographical features, such as mountains and by weather conditions. The most obvious example in British Columbia is a mountain valley. We begin today's Open Connection with Secretary of Kitimat Airshed Group, Brittany Bain.
Today we are participating in the LNG Canada Safe Startup Open House. The Kitimat Airshed Group is a multi-stakeholder nonprofit group, and LNG Canada participates on our board of directors. So they are actively involved in the group, and it's a platform for transparent information sharing, and where the group also has the opportunity to provide recommendations on permits, permit extensions, and currently we're working with them on their air quality monitoring and management plan. It's tough to say. Of course, there's going to be different emissions that come out of that flare stack. However, with LNG Canada's modeling, we don't anticipate there being a great change. And they will be augmenting the current ambient air quality monitoring network with monitors to monitor the emissions that will be coming out of the flare stack and out of the plant. So we do encompass all of that, but the main contaminants of concern are nitrogen dioxide and ozone. And they will be augmenting the stations as I had previously said. They will be augmenting them with nitrogen dioxide monitors and ozone monitors as well. A lot of the LNG plants have not been approved in Canada, so it is difficult to compare, especially with our geography and the way our airshed works. It's very unique in the way the air moves and how emissions are dispersed in our airshed. So it will be a learning lesson as they go into operations, but their modeling forecast does look good, and they're very transparent and open with their information sharing. So with their air quality monitoring and management plan, there will be plans in place in case things do go askew. And so they're a large industry and they're very proactive in their measures. And also the BC Energy Regulator will be monitoring their air emissions, and the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change as well. So they have two different authorities watching the air emissions, and then the Kitimat Airshed Group as well. The flare stack is, when it does flare, it'll be for safety measures quite often, and it does have to flare in order to keep the plant safe and to keep the workers safe. There are emissions that come out of it. However, it's a necessary part of the process, and as per our discussions with LNG Canada, they will flare as little as possible, and then they also plan to put out notifications to the community when they have planned flaring activities, and then notifications when they do have unplanned flaring activities, so that there is transparency and there is education for the community if they want to engage. And I know there's a lot of high interest with our relationship with LNG Canada, and I do have to say we very much enjoy working with them. We do work and partner also with our other local industry, Rio Tinto, and so we do have a lot of conversations and a lot of open, transparent information sharing, which is a great step forward. We are. So they do sit on our board, and we are partially funded by them as well. However, the opinions of the KIG are opinions that are in the best interest of the airshed.
LNG Canada is preparing to operate its new export facility in Kitimat, British Columbia. Here are some things to know about the safe startup process. As the facility is brought online, a process known as flaring will occur. People may see and hear an elevated flame coming from the facility's flare stack. And they may see some smoke. This is normal. Flaring is an essential part of the LNG Canada facility's safety and operational management systems, and ensures the conversion of natural gas to liquid is conducted safely and efficiently, with the fewest possible impacts. LNG Canada adheres to strict regulatory standards for safety and environmental protection. Flaring occasions will decrease significantly over several months as the facility settles into regular operating conditions.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. Flaring is a standard process for safe operations of an LNG plant, ensuring hydrocarbons that cannot be used in the liquefaction process are safely combusted and cannot be directly emitted to the atmosphere. Let us return to the conversation with Head of Production Support for LNG Canada, Cameron McCormick.
So my background is in heavy oil, so upgraders in Alberta. That's where I come from. I'm one of the first Canadians on the engineering team on the project. So lots of experience with flares, flaring similar gases. And we have a lot of people in LNG Canada that actually come from other LNG facilities. We brought all the expertise in where we didn't quite have it locally to help start the facility safely. So we're here to engage with the community as we move from construction. We've been in construction since 2018. We're moving into the operations phase now. So this is an opportunity for the community to come and engage with a different group of people. So they're coming in and engaging with our asset organizations. People are going to be here for the next 40 years operating the facility. And this is where we can answer any questions that they may have. In particular, I'm here to represent the flare, right? And that's going to be a major impact to the community when we start up. It's going to be visible. And we want to make sure people understand that it's safe, it's normal, and they're comfortable in their homes when it starts. Initially, when it starts, you're going to see, a candle sort of in the sky. It's going to be a flame off of a derrick. It's going to be visible, especially at nighttime. There's a lot of light that's going to generate. Sometimes there's a potential for visible emissions when the flare ignites and different gases going to it. But really, it's just the light impact the community is going to see. Noise, when you're really close to the site, you might hear it as like a low rumble. In the community, you won't really hear the flare. It's going to blend in the background. When you're close to the site itself, say you're fishing, you might hear a little bit of rumble in the background just from the flare and the combustion in the site itself when we start up. So the same thing, your barbecue at home, it's the same type of gas we're burning on the flare. So the flame itself will be thousands of degrees, but as you move away from it, it's going to cool down really quick. So one of the big things too is like our first LNG carriers coming in. They're about 1,000 feet long. That's going to be really interesting for the public to see. The flare obviously is going to be front and center. We also move into space where our subcontractors will start hiring staff as well. So there'll be a bit more opportunity in the community for positions. And then if you're right beside the site, you might hear different noises, right? That kind of thing. And maybe a little bit different traffic. There might be some different traffic coming into the community as we get supplies to start up with. We'll be 13 million tons per annum, right? So that's about an LNG carrier every second day. We'll be coming into port, filling up, and taking that LNG back to our customers. Yeah, about that every second day, you have a ship coming in. It's going to be picked up at Triple Island by Prince Rupert, escorted through to the facility with our partners in High Sea who run our tugboats, right? Docked, loaded with LNG, and then we turn and ship back to Asia. We have a lot of our joint ventures, have customers all over the world, so we're not quite not our area of expertise with ship scope. Yeah, so when the plant is fully operational, we've done a lot of our hiring at the moment. We have about 300 employees permanent for the facility. This is a great chance for us to engage early. We're going to be starting up middle of the decade, so coming up, there'll be a bit more activity in the community as we start up and move away from the project construction phase to the operate phase. So that's the big thing that's coming up now is that as we move into the step, this is our first real big opportunity to engage with citizens of Kitimat and the Haisla Nation as we go into early operations.
Kitsilus means people of the canyon. We're a very small community located right next door to the city of Terrace. You look at industry and all the development that is happening here in the north.
Oh man, I tell you, there's such a big change that has happened in our community. There are so many young people here that are up and comers that are now making their lives here. It's just fulfilling to see that.
The origin story for the Kitsilus Clubhouse is that we wanted to create a safe and consistent space for skill building. We've seen people come fresh off the street, found stability in their housing, in their life, in their wellness, and meaningful employment. One of the programs that we operate out of the Kitsilus Clubhouse is called the KCAD program. People get the opportunity to learn about trades through working in our shop.
These are opportunities that you don't see very much, and to be a part of it, and you just don't want to waste the opportunity, right? Lots of money, lots of work, and if you're interested, they'll have the certificates and the courses to take.
This KCAD program and an apprenticeship program, all for the taking.
They can come here, they can gain the skills they need, and they can transition out to an apprenticeship with LNG Canada.
I'm very pleased that we have a number of our members actually working on the project. You see people that are making a decent living. You see them driving new vehicles, providing for their family, not having to leave the community.
Some of the things that they've done for our elders, they're doing great things, and they're going to be doing greater things.
I think that LNG has been an awesome neighbor. I think that they have been kind, they've been considerate, and they've been compassionate towards the people of Kitsilus when it comes to the project. Everyone working together is producing an area and opportunities that nobody can take away from us. So I think it's awesome. It's wonderful.
A benefit that my community of Kitsilus is going to be receiving. There's going to be enough there left for the legacy of the young children well into the future.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. The BC Energy Regulator, formerly the BC Oil and Gas Commission, oversees the full life cycle of energy resource activities in BC, from site planning to restoration. Let us return the conversation with BC Major Projects Manager, Hardy Frederick.
So we took this opportunity to come down to speak to the community. We're with the BC Energy Regulator. So we're the regulator for the LNG Canada project. We've been involved in it for a long time, reviewing and issuing applications to construct and operate. So basically today we're just down here to talk to the community, let those that don't know who we are know who we are. We'll be in the community for a long time. And just talk and answer questions. We've got some great questions so far, and it's been good. Okay, so we've been involved in various reviews of the project for a long time. We have engineers, biologists that they both ensure that companies are following provincial and provincial legislation and regulations. We have a large suite of regulations that a project like this has to follow. So we're checking that. And right through up until they start operation, we have requirements that have to be reviewed. And after that, then we also have a compliance and enforcement program that will be on site doing inspections once the project is under operation, as well as we'll be the contact for anybody in Kitimat or the public that has any comments or complaints about the project. We have a toll-free number that folks can call and get a hold of us and ask questions. We've been involved right through the process. Construction. We issued a LNG facility permit to LNG Canada, which has a long list of requirements that they have to fulfill both for construction and operation. And so we worked through that process with construction, and now we're working through that process with operation. And we'll be here continuing through operation once they start up, an early startup, and through to the life cycle of the entire project right to the end. So yeah, we've had some great questions so far. Just people asking who we are, for starters, which is why we're here. We want the community to know that we're the BC Energy Regulator, and we have an important role to play with this project, and we're overseeing it for the province. And that's been pretty much the extent of it so far. It's been good. This project, there's a bit, we're the regulator for oil and gas, and we have a newly expanded mandate for things like hydrogen too. So this is one of the main projects that we have going on. We also were involved in the oversight of the Coastal GasLink pipeline for the permit issuance and reviews and compliance and enforcement related to that. So we do have other projects in the area, but specifically here today, we're here to talk about LNG Canada and the startup procedures and what our role is. Yeah, most oil and gas activities in BC, we're the regulator for. So those companies have to come to us and they submit an application, and we have experts, many experts from engineers, biologists, the whole gamut that review. So any oil and gas activities, for the most part, there are exceptions. I won't get into the details, the weeds right now on that. But if an oil and gas project comes to the area, chances are we would be the regulator for it. No, other than the fact that we're happy to be here today. It's a good event. We're getting a chance to talk to the community. We need the community to know who we are and what we do, the BC Energy Regulator. And just letting them know that we're here to be contacted if they have any questions or comments too. So yeah, our main website is bc-er.ca, and you can find the permits for LNG Canada and other projects online. You can find information about what we regulate, like what kind of projects in a community that we would be involved with. Our full suite of regulations are online too, and basically how we protect and regulate oil and gas activities in BC.
Today was such a significant day for the LNG Canada project here at Kitimat. We received the inlet gas module, 4,600 tonne, 35 metres long. Receiving the modules on site, we start to piece together our high gear period on the project.
The gas process modules allow us to condition the gas in a way that we can then reduce the temperature and turn it into LNG. So it's a shift in the type of work that we're doing in Kitimat.
Long before these vessels depart, there's a large amount of oversight and assurances for the arrival of the vessels in the channel. There are lots of environmental considerations, speed considerations, local pilots are employed as well as local tugs.
When it comes into dock, the first thing we're looking at has anything moved. We have a 3-hour window either side of high and low tide to get the module off. We actually put the SPMTs on the night before. The morning of the offload, we'll do our final checks and we'll cut the last bit of grillage off, and we lift the module up, bring it to the edge of the boat. We'll do another round of checks, and then we put the ramp down. The project's a fabulous challenge. Absolute unique environment, some leading cutting edge technology that we're deploying.
They're critical activities, critical cargoes. Safety is paramount. Everything from vessel quality, assurance standards to training and competency for people that are working on the site.
Making sure that we're prepared and making sure that we're aware of the risk that's ahead of us.
This is where our north-south haul road meets the east-west haul road, and where the SPMTs really come into their own with the multi-direction steering of each of the wheels. They ran a night shift and we brought in some extra aggregate and backfilled onto the road, and that gave us a real good platform to move the module.
The inlet gas module coming in, it was the first really large module, and watching it go down the haul road, it's just incredible.
Bubbles in the middle, it's level. Receiving the inlet gas module comes with pride, but also responsibility, because the job's not done yet. It's an absolute pleasure to be working with people who are right at the top of the game. To deliver a project of this size and vision, LNG Canada is demonstrating on a day-to-day basis its commitment to the energy change.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
The leaders of LNG Canada were always trying to ask, like, how can we be a part of the community? What can we do better? The Kitimat General Hospital Foundation brought us a wish list. On there was a CT scanner.
The CT scanner is the #1 tool to basically attract doctors to Kitimat.
We do lots of stuff with the CT scanner. It's used to diagnose and treat traumas, orthopedic services, and just generally unwell people.
Patients are currently having to be transported or drive to Terrace if they need to have a CAT scan. There has been times where we've had patients had to go as far as Prince George, or they've had to been flown to Vancouver, depending on the situation.
I think it's huge. It's going to help us a great deal to get the CT scanner. We've been wanting to have one for many years. It will for sure improve patient care.
It will allow reduced wait times for further imaging, reduce travel time, reduce financial costs to themselves. They can get the services right in Kitimat. LNG Canada are here, they're committed, they're willing to help out where needed.
And not only the $900,000 that they gave us, they also donated a new ECG machine for our lab. They also gave us $10,000 for harm reduction supplies. The impact is, I just see it rolling out for many years to come.
A donation of this might not be possible without the work of the Kitimat General Hospital Foundation. It's really LNG Canada working together with volunteer groups in the community. Any project in town you can think of, LNG Canada has been there and helping out with it. So we're very proud to have them as a member of our community.
LNG liquefaction projects have always had a relatively long execution timelines. For most of the LNG industry's history, grassroots projects have taken 3 to 4 years to reach full LNG. In this final segment of Open Connection, Head of Communications Paul Hagel gives us an update of the completion process of LNG Canada's Kitimat site.
This is part of our fall open houses. So last night we were in Kitimat Village. Tonight we're in Kitimat, engaging with the community, talking to them about what a safe startup program looks like for LNG Canada. After 5 years in construction, we're in the last 15%. And so this is a really important junction in the project to engage with the community, let them know what's going to be happening, and talk to them about all the different aspects about LNG Canada and what a safe operations looks like. The safe startup kind of begins now. We have thousands of different processes, so we'll commission bit by bit, making sure each part of the process is safe. And we really want to invite the community to give us, insight about what they're thinking and feeling, and talk to them a little bit about what a successful LNG export facility is going to operate like. We've been doing these public engagements since the beginning of LNG Canada. So this will be the second iteration of these open houses. Last year we started doing these in earnest, and we continue to engage with the community. So we're meeting with individual groups, we're doing site tours, we're having public open houses, a whole bunch of different ways that we can engage the public, listen to their feedback, and provide them input on what we're doing. I mean, a lot of the community really wants to know what this is going to look like in startup and operations. And so part of that is really focusing on the commissioning and startup period. So in particular, the flaring piece and what that flare is going to look like. How are we going to connect and notify the community when different unplanned events happen, and how we're going to communicate with them over the life of the project. This is a 40-year project, so this will continue a lot of the engagements that we've had in the past. Not a lot of questions that have taken us by surprise. I think there's a real focus on what the expansion of LNG Canada will look like. How are we working and putting to work local contractors and organizations? Is there, big supply chain aspects to the next phase? What does the flaring program look like? How are we thinking about emergency response? Those types of questions. Well, last night in Kitimat Village, I think we had around 250 folks. So really great turnout from the local community and local elders, both elected and hereditary chiefs. So it was really fabulous, I think, to engage with them. And tonight it's a bit of a wait and see. We're just started the open house. And so we hope to, again, get a couple hundred folks. So no problem. This might be a good moment, though, to go to the safe startup thing, because that seems to be mostly on people's minds, is what that safe startup looks like. And so he will give it a bit more color around that.
Ledcor Haisla created the construction readiness program to get Haislas recruited, giving priority hiring and priority training. I work closely with Ledcor to get training and how we can get the entry-level labor into a rock truck, and how we can get rock truck operators into a loader.
Miranda helped me get onto the construction readiness program. It means everything.
So the program was 3 weeks long. The first week was fundamental skills and learning how to communicate. Then the second week was the certificate courses like first aid, rigging. And then they did the field-based training. They got to meet their supervision, their coworkers. They got to do a ride-along in a rock truck.
I'm a single mother. I have no support for my daughter, so I'm her only provider. It helped me in my stability, financially wise and emotionally wise, because being a single mother is really hard. So now to have that on paper, that my benefits will be kicking in soon. My daughter will have benefits. I'll have life insurance. I'm already caught up on all my bills, and it feels really good. It's fun work too. You get to know a lot of really cool people, really nice people, and it's like building another family. That's one thing why I mentioned being a single parent too, is because I know that it is hard, but it is doable. I'm doing it, and it is hard and it's challenging, but it's rewarding. It's so rewarding. This is me building my foundation, so I'm really grateful to have LNG Canada be a part of that.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but that connects from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.